everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for dialing in. This is another episode of the Building BlackBiz podcast. My name is Maxwell from Z100's, and I am blessed to get to meet this brother through Zoom here. We went through some technical difficulties, but like we said, you're not going to stop us from having this conversation, Dr. Thompson, man.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Maxwell. Thank you for your listeners listening in.
Of course. So we got to dive in head first and get to know all about the very certain weight loss solutions team that you got. So these conversations are always fun to find out very first off the rip. Why? What was your why? Why did you feel like this was your calling? You wanted to be in this position to help people.
So to make a very long story short, I've been raised to help in any capacity that I can. My mother and father were very instrumental in instilling those principles in my brother and I to help those who need help. Being a physician, I love being a physician. I got to medical school and realized this is definitely what I wanted to do. In medical school, I took part in surgeries and realized I definitely want to be a surgeon. So here I am, I'm a surgeon. I'm helping patients lose a tremendous amount of weight. The reason why I chose weight loss surgery, as a surgeon, unfortunately, you operate most of the time and you see the patients once after the operation and you never see them again. With weight loss surgery, we follow our patients on a journey, and that journey starts before surgery and most importantly, after surgery. So I get to marry being a surgeon with being a family practitioner where I'm following patients over a span of sometimes a lifetime. So I get to not only operate and use my surgical skills, but I get to follow patients for a long period of time, get to know them, get to know their family, get to know their story. And it's just an amazing way to interact with people.
Now, I want to go back a little bit because you said going to medical school and going to school, and I'm assuming you're wearing it on your chest. Is that it right there?
This is where I went to undergrad. I went to Morehouse College undergrad, and then I went to Howard University for med school. Yeah. You know.
Well, tell us about Dirty Surgical and weight loss solutions. What is it? I mean, along with the story that you just said, being able to be there with your clients, your patients, being a part of their journey, how important that is. But is that an overall kind of aesthetic for the entire program, team, family that you all have there?
Absolutely. I'm glad you used that word, family. Each and every person that walks through the doors at Clarity joins the Clarity family. Myself and all of the team members here at Clarity make it very important to make the patients feel very comfortable. Because think about it, they're coming to us with a problem that many have been suffering with sometimes for decades. And, difficulty in losing weight is an issue in our society that is difficult to talk about. So we have to be very careful and very sensitive to what others are going through in their process and in their journey. We want them to come to our practice and feel like it's a safe space to talk about the difficulties that they've had in losing weight, how they think about themselves, how others react to them, and about the difficulty in losing weight places on them in society in general. So we want Clarity to be a very safe space for our patients.
Well, what's amazing about that is that, yeah, you're dealing with patients and people in, quite honestly, one of their most vulnerable states. So to be able to be there every step of the way, to have that family, that comfort, to help people along this journey, I'd imagine that's one of the most fulfilling that you are able to be there for more than just the medical procedure.
Absolutely, Maxwell. And, I'll be very honest with you. I have no problems telling you that sometimes I'm in the patient's rooms and they're telling me some of the trials and tribulations they've had, or once they've lost weight, some of the things that they're so excited about. Quite literally, tears come to my eyes sometimes because it just, to see people go through these situations and go through this journey, and now that they're so happy, it makes me very happy. And sort of in a self-fulfilling, in a self-fulfilling way, I'm doing this to help others, but it makes me feel good as well. It makes me feel very good. So that's one of full circle. Absolutely, full circle, man. So It's just I'm very blessed to be able to practice and do what it is that I do for a profession, and I'm also more importantly blessed to be able to help as many people as we are able to help.
Now imagine like most everything else that was going on this past. I mean, I even just say this past year. This past year it's changed
Right.
dealing with COVID, all that. How difficult was it to overcome some of those challenges that you and the team faced?
So to be very honest with you, it wasn't too much difficulty because we have the technology now where we can see patients without physically seeing them. We can do televisits. And so I was still able to see patients. I was still able to help. There was only a short amount of time where the hospitals closed down all of their elective procedures. So it wasn't an extended amount of time. So we were still able to help and treat patients. Now, from a business perspective, things slowed down a little bit, of course, but we were still doing other emergency operations. So I do more than just weight loss surgery. I take out gallbladders and appendices, I fix hernias, and these are sometimes emergency surgeries that were still going on even during the thick of COVID.
So I'd imagine as a business owner, I mean, like some of the other businesses that we had the chance to talk here on the podcast, it's about trying to find those audibles and how to call those audibles and be able to sustain a successful business and understand that sometimes it's not just going to be the one. You got to be able to pivot.
That's right.
Keep things going.
That's right. That's right. So we found a few different ways to pivot and make sure that the practice was still floating. One of the things, though, that we did benefit from was I had just opened my practice when COVID really hit hard. So I was an employed surgeon at another practice, and in the summer of 19 decided to leave and open my own practice. And so we were still in the very early stages. So thankfully we didn't have to pivot too much because we were still building.
This is your normal.
Yes, exactly. So, and I left and started my own practice because I felt like I wanted to serve people the way that I wanted to serve them. When you're employed for someone else, you have to play by their rules. Well, I wanted to write my own rules, and I wanted to, serve people and serve patients the way that I and overall clarity feels that they should be served.
God, that's so awesome. So what would be some of the advice besides maybe trying to start your own practice right at the beginning of a global pandemic? What would be some of the advice that you would give to someone thinking about maybe not starting a medical practice, but starting their own business?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is to believe in yourself. Particularly in the medical industry, the way things are now, all practices are being bought up by huge hospital conglomerates. Out here in New York, you have Columbia Presbyterian, you have Northwell, you have Catholic Health, and so the environment is not in a good position for private practitioners. But I will challenge that notion and say that this is a perfect time, because when everybody's running out the door, I'm going inside, and I'm sort of trying to take advantage of and get some leverage on the situation. The other thing is you have to have amazing team members. I was very blessed to have, I'll just say their names, Jessica Reyes and Todd Coggins, as part of the team here very, very, very early in the process. And, even though this is my practice, I owe everything to them in terms of how well they've been able to grow the practice, help me expand. The last little nugget, and I have many nuggets, but the last little one I'll leave your listeners with is know what you don't know. And that sort of sounds funny, right? But what I'm trying to say is if you don't know something, go get an expert in that area to help you. And yes, it may require a little bit of money. It may require some time and things that you didn't think that you would need to spend, but it's completely worth it. It has certainly helped Clarity move in the right direction.
Hearing you say that, that brings back to a conversation I had with another business owner about the importance of mentors and mentorships and being willing to, I guess, like you said, know what you don't know. And that puts you as a business owner and an entrepreneur in a position where it's, that's probably scary as well. Just thinking help. On a scale of 1 to 10, I mean, how important is that?
10, 11. Okay. So before I even left my former practice, I spoke to mentors and found out from them before I made my final decision some things to look out for, some pitfalls that they went through. So hopefully I can step over those pitfalls without having to experience them. And not only did I speak to mentors in the medical field, but probably more importantly, I spoke to mentors and friends in the business arena. You know, as a physician, we're trained to be very risk averse, and we're trained to not take any chances, as we should, because we're dealing with patients' lives. From a business perspective, however, taking risk is a necessity. Okay, you have to be comfortable with risk. You have to be comfortable with, you know, spending XYZ in order to get a positive ROI. You know, so you know, I'm wearing sort of two hats. When I'm talking and dealing with patients, I'm very, very conservative, very, very risk averse. When I'm dealing with my business in the practice, you know, I have to be willing to put some things out there in order to realize a return.
That's interesting. How difficult was it to have kind of not really a dual personality, but to wear two different hats to, you know, balance the both of those on a daily basis?
Yeah, it's a little difficult, but again, it helps a lot when you have team members that are, you know, looking out for you from that perspective, looking out for you on that end. I am 100% in control of patient care, right? But I rely completely on my team for business matters and matters associated with the management of the practice.
And I want to go back to the word family because, you know, team, family, these are all words that are super important in businesses, you know, especially upstarts or, you know, just being willing to step out. Gosh, man, I guess it sounds like a foolish question, but I mean, to find those folks that are part of the team, that are part of the family, that are like-minded, how special was it for you to know that you have those folks surrounding you at the time?
Yeah, it's super special. And the question that one may ask is, you know, well, how do you find those people? My answer is say your prayers, you know, because a lot of it is just, you know, fortuitous happenings and getting lucky. And the other space, though, is being able to recognize when you have those people and to hold on to those people in recognition that they bring a tremendous amount of value to your practice and to your business. So you have to be able to recognize those individuals. And when you do recognize them, make sure that you do everything that you can to make them happy and comfortable so that they stay part of the team.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, I saw earlier when we were taking a little still shot of the picture, everybody's, it's just, that's palpable through this computer screen, this telephone. I mean, those are the kind of things that are, you can't put on a spreadsheet. You know what I mean? Those are those tangibles.
Intangibles. That's right.
That flourish.
That's right.
I want to swing over to what are some of those things, you know, that you rely on, some of those tools, some of those, you know, I guess, you know, party focus type things that you would recommend to someone that was starting any type of a business. I mean, did you rely on loads of books? Were there websites? Was there, you know, what?
So, without sounding common and trite, someone said to me the other day, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
And I rely completely on my network. I can't count on one hand how many people are involved in this process that I didn't know previously, right? So there's only like maybe 2 or 3 people that I didn't know previously involved in this whole process. Everybody from my attorney to my CPA to marketing, these are all people that I either knew before or were directly referred to by close friends. So, you know, you have the tools that you need. You don't need to go out and read a million books. There are some books that, you should probably, you know, take your time and go through, but most people have in their network the people that they need to help run their business. Or if they don't have them directly in their network, your network knows those other people that they can refer you to. So I rely completely on my network.
you got to be willing to ask for help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, gotta lower the let the wall come down for just a little bit.
Absolutely.
Folks are in there, for a reason. They're part of your family for a reason because they want to help you thrive. Oh my God, man.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, as we get ready to wrap things up here, how do we and how do our listeners, our fans, how do folks find clarity? Like, where is that we can dial in? How do we Google search it?
Sure. Sure.
I know
So there's a number of different platforms that we're on. Obviously, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're creating a pretty decent sized digital footprint on Google and all the other search platforms out there. So if you type in Clarity Surgical and Dr. Thompson, 99% of the time it's going to come up. If it doesn't, just put in New York; it'll definitely come up. So we're on Instagram at Clarity Surgical NY. We're on Facebook, the same, at Clarity Surgical NY. We have a YouTube channel where we post videos. Again, Clarity Surgical and Weight Loss Solutions. My name, Dr. Charles Thompson. Anybody can put into search, and hopefully that will come up. But we're here for all patients. We're here for everyone, especially those having difficulty in losing weight. I would, Maxwell, if you don't mind, like to take a couple minutes and say a little bit more.
Yes.
What has happened in the past couple of years with COVID, with George Floyd, with all of the social changes that are occurring and happening, Clarity has highlighted the need to take particular and close attention to Black and Brown communities. We suffer from all medical conditions at a higher rate than the majority population. And that was brought out specifically with what's been going on with COVID. So, again, Clarity is a surgical practice for everybody and for anyone having difficulty losing weight. But we are also very highly aware that there needs to be special attention paid to our Black and Brown communities to help them, since they suffer most from all of these medical conditions that obesity can bring.
With that top of mind right now, I want to ask you this one last question. How important do you feel it is to be a successful African American male surgeon? Someone who folks like myself, my brothers and sisters, folks that look like us, to feel even that just maybe tiny bit more sense of comfort to speak to. How special in your heart does that feel to you to know that you can be that person for folks like us?
It warms me very much every single day when I hear people who look like me, who sound like me, say, "Yo, you're a doctor? Wow, that's amazing! I can't believe you are a doctor." I mean, and that's when again, borrowing a line from someone else, that's when inspiration turns into aspiration. Because not only have I inspired that person, but that person may have aspirations of doing what it is that I do, and even taking it further, hopefully. So going from inspiration to aspiration is one of the goals that I hope to instill in others following my path and watching my journey.
Man, dude, that warms my heart, man. I don't think that we can go any further in this conversation without the right there. So
thank you.
I'm looking forward to we get the opportunity to meet in person coming up here at Mental Health Expo that's happening. Shout out to our brethren, Charlemagne God.
That's right.
Let me go ahead and drop the government name on them. Now you got the But what I do want to say that is so amazing is that being able to speak to people like you to share your story, share your growth, share what is this family environment that you're creating in the medical space. It's truly special, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time to break bread and to be that product of Morehouse. Thank you, and now gentlemen, bringing clarity, surgical weight loss solutions to life right here in New York City. Dr. Thompson, and I can't thank you enough.
I I can't thank you enough, Maxwell. Thanks for giving me the platform, and I look forward to meeting you next weekend.
Of course, man. You take care.
All right. You too.
Tell the family there that we say hello, all right?
We'll do, Max. All right, man.
Well, being a part of this is another episode of the Building BlackBiz podcast on our iHeartRadio platform. You just go ahead and Google it, like you can Google search Dr. Thompson. You're going to find us, baby. I promise. Take care.
Take care. Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Thanks, Maxwell.